Here's my story of English and how I continue improving my language skills and how I speak English so well and what strategies I use myself.
One second, you got it, and then it's out the door. Some people, they're waiting for the next thing I'll know.
I have never lived in an English-speaking country for more than 3 months. 4 months actually. I used to work in the United States as a waitress when I was 18.
Latte? And a nice tea.
I learned quite a lot, but it was a summer job. I worked there from May till September, and then I had to go back to my home country and continue my education. But since then, I've been using English every day, and to be honest, when I first traveled to the US, I could understand only a third of what people were telling me, so my English was not perfect, far from perfect, even though my major at the university was English actually. But since then, I've been continuously using English every day, and I am in love with this language. I'm fascinated by the idea that I can use this language to connect with other individuals who think differently, who speak a different language, who have a completely different personality, and that is my motivation.
She's looking for ways to connect.
I want to be able to connect with these people not only on the level of words, but on a way deeper level. So here are the strategies that I use myself. First of all, I don't use Russian-English dictionaries. Russian is my first language, but I never use those dictionaries. I only use English-English dictionaries, and there is another video of why I do so. So if you click here, you're going to find that video. It's a fascinating skill to be able to use English-English dictionaries, and there are enough reasons why I do exactly that. My second strategy is that my entertainment in my world is in English only. If I go to the movies, it's going to be an English movie. If I read a book, it's going to be a book in English because I like reading books in original. Unless it's a Russian author, then of course I'm going to read it in Russian or in German because I also speak German. But all the entertainment you can imagine, TV shows, I don't know, movies, games, music, applications inside my phone, and actually the language of my phone is English as well. It's all in English. When I moved to Germany, I used to live there for 5 years. The first thing I did, I switched the language of my phone into German, and I learned so much in the first 2 weeks. It was very complicated at first, looking at all those words inside my phone that I couldn't understand, but I learned very quickly.
Well, I think we all learned something.
So if you want to do something today, probably you want to start with switching the language of your phone into English. Strategy number 3 is kind of related to strategy number 2. I never watch dubbed movies. If the movie was released in America, I want to watch it in English. You know, if the language of the movie is English, I want to watch it in English. If the language of the movie is French, yeah, I'm going to watch it in Russian or in English. I need the translation because I don't speak French. But if the original language is English, I want to see it in the original because if I watch the translated version, I'm missing out so much. I cannot actually get the feeling of what this character is like and how they talk. And I'm very curious about the accent. So if actors in a movie have to learn a specific accent just for the movie, I want to hear that and I want to learn from them.
I opened my mouth and this British accent just came out.
Intonation, voice, accent, these things tell you a lot more than just words.
And I went, it's water. And she was like, no, it's water.
Strategy number 4 is all my gadgets are in English. It's not just the phone. My printer, my laptop, I don't know, my microwave. All the gadgets and appliances that I use, all the equipment, the treadmill, whatever, it's in English. Right now I live in Moscow, and you probably also live in a country where people don't speak English, but your goal is to learn to speak like a native speaker. Your goal is to improve your language skills. And you might tell me, but Natalia, I don't have anyone to practice with and I don't have a lot of opportunities around me. And I'm telling you, the opportunities are inside your phone. Because you choose whether you want to watch a video on YouTube in English or in Russian. You choose if the language of your phone is English or Russian. You choose which language your printer is going to be in, or which language your Microsoft Office is, which language your software speaks to you. You make this choice. If you use Siri, does your Siri speak English, Russian, French, German? I don't know. It's your call.
It's your choice.
All my gadgets are always in English because I realize it's my responsibility to create English-speaking environment in my world. There are enough resources today, there is enough free information, and you can experience this information in flawless, 100% correct English. So why not use this opportunity? The music
And music.
I listen to is most of the time is English. American is in the English language, and if I listen to podcasts, all of them are in English as well. The next strategy is Google. If I Google anything, I Google it in English. That's my rule since university, and that has helped me so much because when I need to find some information, first of all, I type in my request in the English language. Of course, if I need to buy something in Moscow from a Russian store, of course I'm gonna type the request in Russian, but if I'm curious about a concept, about a word, about the movement in neuroscience, or about anything I don't know, or how to film a video, or how to edit a video, or how to work with the light, I'm gonna Google it in English in the first place. That's my next rule. Another strategy that I use a lot, because I remember I want to create English-speaking environment around myself, is I send a lot of voice messages in English. So instead of texting people in English, I send them voice messages. This gives me an opportunity to listen to the message that I have just sent.
Can you hear yourself?
And it's an amazing opportunity, it's an amazing strategy to edit the way you think. Because when you send a voice message and it's very spontaneous, you don't notice a lot of things about how you talk, and you don't always have the time to hear what you actually are saying. When you play back your own voice messages to yourself, you actually notice what you say, how you say it, and what needs to be improved. That's a very handy strategy that doesn't require any extra effort, because I already communicate with these people and I already text them and we already exchange voice messages. I just choose to send my voice messages in English, and if I communicate with a person who speaks English, I deliberately choose to send more voice messages than just text. Most people don't hear how they talk. So for me, it's a good instrument to learn to hear what I actually say. Are there any filler words that I keep repeating? Am I clear? Are my ideas easy to follow? These are the questions I ask myself when I listen to my own voice messages. I would say this is it. These are the strategies that I've been using to continue improving my English skills myself, and you can try any of them. Just remember that if you have a choice to do something in English, why not? Why don't you try? We do a lot of things on autopilot. If you want to master a foreign language, sometimes it's a good idea, well actually very often it's a good idea to stop running on autopilot and to make a conscious choice.
What choice do we have?
To pause and to make a choice. Can I make a different choice here? Are there any other options? Yes or no? Most probably there are options. For example, when I read travel reviews, TripAdvisor reviews, when I choose where I want to travel next, I read them in English. Or when I write to-do lists for myself, my to-do lists are in English. My subtitles are in English. My applications are in English. My Google search history is in English because I choose to do so.
Good choice.
You can either complain that you don't have anyone to practice with, or you can create your own environment where English is everywhere and you simply live in this environment, and this is how you operate. And you read a lot in English and you listen to a lot of English speech, and you naturally are inclined to use even more of these resources that are all in English. Why not? I also enjoy watching a lot of interviews with my favorite actors or with my favorite philosophers or people that I admire in the English language. It's your choice when you open YouTube. Which video do you watch? English or Russian? Everything that I've said may sound very simple, probably too simple. But these are the strategies that work if they're being applied consistently and regularly.